forego the Pledge of Allegiance since we are not in the council chambers. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And you were given your minutes. You were emailed them, I believe, 2 weeks ago. So we will entertain a motion and second to approve those unless there is any corrections or errors that you noticed.
So moved. So moved.
Second.
All right, Andrew.
Motion on the floor to approve the November 2nd, 2020 Plan Commission meeting minutes. Dick?
Yes.
Doug?
Yeah.
Carrie?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Motion carried, minutes approved.
And gentlemen, someone else did pop on as caller number 2. If you want to get proper minutes, can you identify yourself?
It could be me, Kathleen Iwanis.
It is you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for announcing yourself. All right, we will go ahead with item number 2. At this point in time, I'll turn it over to Andy, and you can discuss this.
Item number 2 is the conditional use approval for the church or other place of worship at 226 South Main Street. As you're all aware, we had initial meeting on November 2nd with concerns about occupying the front building and possible building code violations. Talked to the chief. He is all squared away, fire chief. And they removed themselves from the front building and are only occupying the A3 use group in the rear of the building, which is 226. Chief, let me know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but when I talked with Bruce, he was fine with everything. So we put him back on the agenda for this meeting to hear the conditional use request. Anybody have any comments?
I guess just to refresh everybody's memory is we recall we were confused as to which building they were actually occupying, and we actually had 2 different items on the agenda last time. One of them had not had recent plan approval, and this one had for assembly. So from my perspective, as long as they're using that back half of the building, which already has an occupancy for assembly, I'll echo the fire chief and not take issue with it. I guess if there's anyone from the public or whatnot that wants to speak, or any committee members, feel free to speak on behalf of this topic at this point in time.
I would like to make a motion to approve this conditional use.
I will second.
Andrew?
Okay, we got a motion on the floor to approve or recommend conditional use approval. Carrie?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. We will recommend conditional use approval to City Council at the next meeting, which is scheduled for December 21st.
All right. Item number 3, use variance. When you're caught up, Andrew, go ahead and take over.
Okay, item number 3 is a use variance for a machine shop in a C2 district. This would be 1126 Buffalo Road for D&G Custom Machine LLC. If you recall, earlier in the year, Mr. Partee came to us and wanted to split this lot. We did end up approving it. Since this notice went out, I have assigned a new address. The building in question will actually be 1128. 1126 will be the storage building that Randy Partee is going to use for personal storage. So just wanted to clarify that. Currently, D&G Custom Machine is located at 840 East Edgerton Street, right across from BMU. They're currently renting that space and running out of room, and they would like to move out to this location. Currently, it's just Dave Grotman, the owner, and one other full-time employee. When work demands are increased, he does have an additional 3 employees that he brings in. At this time, I can call Dave and get him on the call here to answer any questions that you have. Is there any comments or concerns before I do that?
This is Kathleen Iwanis, and I have concerns as it's across from our property, which is a school for autism. And my understanding is machine shop is going to make a lot of noise, which will very much impede the education of our students.
This is Tom Thompson. We also have concerns about basically a light industrial facility going into the C2 zone. The other businesses in the area are C2 businesses, mainly office buildings, the autism school, hair salon. In reviewing the criteria for the variance, we're not seeing that this request for a use variance meets the criteria, and for that reason, we're going to ask that the commission deny this particular request. And I'm happy to answer any questions if people have questions of us as well. Our main concern is also with the noise. We don't know how much noise the facility may make. And even if it's not making substantial noise where it's located now, being in a light industrial zone, with its change and location, there could always be a change in the scope of the work that they do as a machine shop. We're concerned that if it's allowed, that there be some sort of criteria created and an enforcement mechanism if there are noise disturbances or other disturbances within the area. Thanks.
Are there any other concerns? Excuse me 1 minute. All right, at this time, I'm going to try to call Dave.
Hello. Okay.
Okay, I have Dave on the phone. Dave, one of the issues that was, or concerns brought up is noise. With this going from a C2 to more of a light industrial use, there is a school across the road and the law firm there. Do you have any comments on what kind of noise you'll be generating, creating?
Really, there is some CNC machining that does generate a little bit, but it's not a loud noise. It's just kind of like a trooping noise, but it's nothing that we don't really even wear like hearing protection when we do it, because it's not nothing that's really a bother for us. I don't think it's really that noticeable outside. But it'd be, you'd have to be pretty close to the shop to even hear it, I would think. Hello?
Yep.
I will add. I will
Go ahead,
add
Kathy.
that. I will add that our students will be in the back, and having autism, they have sensory processing disorders, and noises that don't bother other people do bother some of them, not all, but even lighting noises and things like that. So that is our concern. Fluorescent lighting is what.
I guess I don't know how to address that. I mean, listeners, like before, I guess when they had a tire shop in there, I guess like pneumatic impact guns or stuff like that going, or air compressor noises. That's kind of, you might hear some of that kind of stuff. The machining is pretty quiet, really. I mean, it's not nothing there's no heavy like banging from the machines or anything. It's just small end mills and stuff that are usually doing the cutting, and they're relatively, I would think, quiet, but it is a noise. I mean, it's not nothing that's really a high decibel noise that I would think. So.
And to concur with Tom Thompson, that once it's approved, then any kind of noise can be in there in the future, and that is a concern, because as a new owner of the building across the street, we don't really plan on moving very soon.
As far as myself moving in there, not initially. I think there's, as Jerry had told me, there's some renters in there that would like to continue to lease it if I was to allow that. And I said, yeah, that's probably what we do for a while, because I'm looking at some other work, which is just a light assembly work as we've been doing. If I continue to do that, I'd like to do that in the front part of that building, and because there's more room than the one I've got now, and there's no noise from that. So I don't know if the work we go back to pre-COVID days. There's a good chance that I would continue to machine out of the building that I'm still in. So at the same point, I'm not saying that I'm not going to not move in there with it. So I don't know how I could maybe run some of the machines on some of the machining we do, and somebody could listen to it to see if it sounds like it would be a factor that would be a problem. I could do that. And I don't know how you would want to go about doing that, but I could set it up to where we could machine and people, somebody could listen to it and see what they think.
Which noise is addressed in the industrial section in the zoning code. So we could apply that if it were approved, we could apply that to this use, I believe.
Andy, can you share with us maybe what it says about noise? And of course, in an industrial setting, when all the industries are there, some noise is to be expected.
Right.
The concern, of course, is importing the noise into the the C2 district that should perhaps remain in a light industrial.
Yeah, this the section that deals with noise in the zoning code. Sound level meters shall be used to measure sound. Shall be measured at the lot line. And then it has different frequencies and decibels. To be perfectly honest, we've only had, in my time here, I've only had this issue come up once, and that was out at Titan Tire. And I believe Chief Poole and I went out and measured decibels out on Evansport Road when they were doing something. There was a loud bang every so often. So.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that where I'm at, I could probably run some of the couple jobs that I know would probably be the noisiest. And maybe if you wanted to do that where I'm at, you could do that. I personally don't have a decibel meter to test it.
What is the enforcement mechanism if you apply those criteria that you were talking about, Andy? If there is an issue in the future, what takes place if you find that there's excessive noise or noise that is disruptive to the surrounding property owners?
It's a good question, Tom. Like I said, this is only the second time that it's come up. I think we would have to cite him and then try to get that noise reduced somehow. Whether during summer operations, doors open, what are you foreseeing here, Dave?
Well, there's only one door that I would leave open in the summer if I don't put air conditioning in it. And that would be the one facing the railroad, which would be toward the north. There is another overhead door on the east side toward the front, but if I had some kind of a noise issue that I personally thought that it might be a problem, I would definitely not open that door, and possibly would just have the guys, even if they were running that operation, even have the back door closed too during the summer. So I would definitely make sure that we're trying to keep everything down to a minimum, because I don't want to create any problems. It's not something I want to have happen.
This is Charles Butler. I guess my feeling is this is a commercial district, and trying to implant these noise limitations of industrial location just doesn't seem to fit. I mean, if a business wants to come to a commercial district, they should be subject to the same rules about noise and nuisances that a commercial business should be subject to. We've got a lot invested in this building, and it will be, we've had a for rent sign out for 15 years. If it's to the point where there's noise that can be heard over here, it's going to have a serious negative impact on the value of the building. I just don't think those industrial noise standards would be a good fit here. It seems that if there are no standards for commercial property in the code, maybe there should be some investigation about whether there are some tables for decibel levels that are workable in a commercial setting, if this is going to be allowed.
All right, well, we've taken quite a few comments here from the general public and also from the person who applied for the use here. I guess, commission members, do you guys have any thoughts or comments that you want to throw in here? All right, does anybody have any suggestions for a motion to approve or deny or further investigate? As far as further investigating, we really don't have the means or mechanism in-house here to measure decibels. And again, like Mr. Butler said, I don't really know that there's a chart really that says, I know there's a maximum decibel, but that talks about industrial and whatnot. So we'll just have to make sure in our decision-making process that we're applying the best use in the neighborhood if this business is going to be a good fit. So I guess I'll be open for comments or anything further.
I will make a motion that the variance request is denied.
All right, Andrew, you have a motion and a second by Doug. Go ahead and call roll.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor to deny the use variance request. Dick?
Yes.
Doug? Assuming that was a yes.
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, use variance denied. Dave, I will get you a copy of the minutes, hopefully tomorrow, and
Okay.
I'll be in contact.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Andrew, when you're caught up, we can go ahead and move on to the next item for the building size variance.
Okay, next item is a building size variance for 428 East Maple Street, Robert Byroads. Mr. Byroads would like to build a 46 by 26 garage. This comes out to 1,196 square feet. Currently, his house is only 968 square feet on the first floor. There is an existing garage that's 440 square feet that he would like to remain. Behind that existing garage is another shed that'll get tore down, and the new proposed garage will go there. Notices were sent out, 250-foot radius. I received only one call on this one, and that was from Trish Wicks, who owns the property next door, and she had no issue with the proposed building.
I know we've had several of these in the past, and we went both ways on them. So, we'll entertain your conversation and discussion. And Andrew, continue. I'm sorry.
Mr. Byroads does own a lot and a half there. And which I can call him. Do we have any comments or concerns before I call him to state his case?
Andy, go
Will
ahead.
he be whoops, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Will he be accessing that garage from the alley that runs behind? He's got a garage in front and then that shed behind, and then there's an alley that runs east and west. Will he be accessing the garage from the alley?
Yes, he will have a driveway off the alley. It's going to be a 3-car garage, 3 garage doors. So he'll have to put in a driveway, and I'm assuming he'll be accessing that. There's no way to go out front. So.
And then Andy, once you call him, I would like to hear from the utility and fire department on any concerns they may have as well.
I have a question. Brian, you said we've gone both ways. Was the ones that we denied, was that because neighbors had issues with it? I remember the one that the guy wanted to build a gigantic barn behind his house. I know we denied that one because it was just like 3 or 4 times the size of his house. What about, was there other ones that we've denied?
Well, I think the one you're talking about, that was up, north of Mulberry Street.
Yeah, Williams or Myers.
Right. Yeah, that was huge. We had one here just a couple months ago where he wanted to build, I think, a second garage, and he was going to store his old car in it. So that was similar. He had more buildings than what he was allowed.
And we approved that, right?
Correct. We did approve that one.
Okay.
I guess, Doug Poole, do you have any comments on this as far as the fire department goes?
As far as access, this isn't really any different than any other structure we've got anywhere in town. No unique issues here. It's just another building.
All right, thank you. Nate from Utilities or anybody there, do you have any comments on Utilities end?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and speak since nobody else is going to. I talked to Al a little bit today. He does have an overhead service that swings in there, and it's rather close to the existing roof structure that's there now. I think talking to Al, and I don't know why he hadn't piped up, but it sounds to me like we might want to look at how high the roof's going to be on it because of the overhead triplex that's there existing. I know we want to keep at least 3 foot, clearance from the peak of the roof there. And I mean, it's probably in violation now.
Which I did mention this to Mr. Byroads earlier today. I actually met Al out on the site this morning. We're figuring the peak of the roof is going to be 13 feet. 8-foot walls, 412 pitch. Mr. Byros did not seem concerned about it. He said he looked into it and everything should be fine. So until it's actually built and we see what it is, it's going to be one of those, I think.
Yeah, he'll just have to readjust his electric service line to a different location if that's going to be, it comes in violation of any code that we might have there. So, and we can deal with them after the fact on that.
Andy, what's his use for that? I mean, besides garage space?
I believe he has cars as well that he wants to store. Which if we're ready, I can go ahead and call him and you can ask him direct.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Byroads.
Yes, sir.
All right, Andy at City of Bryan. Hey, we're on our meeting here. One of the questions that was brought up is, what are you using this 3-car garage for?
Well, I own 4 motor vehicles. I'm a 4-vehicle family of 1 person. And I have my eye on a late 20s vehicle that I would want to buy and restore, and I'll need a little room to do that, or at least work on it, try and improve it. And that's basically what I need it for, yes.
Okay.
I don't like to park out in the weather. I got 2 of them out there now, parked in the weather, because my storage building contents are taking up 1 day of my garage, which will need to be spread out amongst the 2 buildings later. That's basically what I needed, Craig.
Okay, anybody else got any questions for Mr. Byroads?
But no, I really don't. I could say that it's not going to be a shack that's put up. It's going to be a really, if you see the drawings, it's going to be a really decent building.
Yep.
And I think the local economy of Bryan might like the money. So that's about all I can say about it.
All right, hang on, Mr. Byroads. I'm going to see if anybody else has any questions.
This will be used only for personal use. Doesn't plan on restoring vehicles for other parties.
No, just a hobby. Hey, I'm 76 years old. I can't take on a business.
You're just a kid.
Just a kid. I'm trying to remember that. No, it's for personal use, not for commercial.
I have a question, Andy. This is Al Sullivan with the Bryan Electric Department. I was wondering if you plan on feeding your building off your house service, or were you going to put a house service on your barn and then feed the house? I know there's a clearance issue. That's kind of my concern with the overhead service line, which we need to maintain 3 feet over your roof line there. Just wondered what you're anticipating for that.
Did you get that, Mr. Byroads?
Yes, I did. Yeah, actually, the storage building that's attached to the back garage now is going to be removed. It's got a quicker and higher pitch roof than what the new building will have. The new building will just have a full 12 pitch roof. So I think it'll slide under there and still clear by 3 feet. If it doesn't, I'll pay to have it raised.
Okay, that sounds good, sir. Thank you.
I didn't catch that question.
He said, sounds good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You're welcome.
All right, does anybody else have any further comments or questions on this particular topic? I guess if we don't have any and we are ready to make a motion one way or the other, I would entertain that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
That was Mr. Hallett, Andy, that made the second. And go ahead and call roll when you're ready.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor to approve the building size variance. Tyson?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. Building size variance approved.
Thank you for your help.
Mr. Byroads, I will be in touch with you probably tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Andrew, do you have any further business for the commission?
I do not.
Okay. I think we're wrapped up then. So unless anybody else has anything further, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I just want to wish those of you I don't see every day a Merry Christmas, since I may not see you before then.
Yes, thank you. Same to you all.
Was that a motion to adjourn, Mayor?
I'll second that, and same to you.
All right, Andrew, motion on the floor.
Motion to adjourn. Carrie?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
All right, motion carried, meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you.